officer of your company, extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this 30th Annual General. Please excuse me. We'd request everybody to please settle down. We will begin in another 5 to 10 minutes, please. Hello, everybody. We will be starting in another 5 minutes. We've received requests from quite a few shareholders requesting us to please hold off for another 5 minutes since the markets have just concluded. Thank you. Dear members, good afternoon. I, Namrata Sajnani, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of UGRO Capital Limited, extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you to this 30th AGM of your company. The facility of remote e-voting for the AGM was made available by the company through the CDSL e-voting system. Poll papers have been provided for voting by those members who have not cast their e-vote. I now request our chairman, Mr. Satyanand Mishra ji, to please conduct the proceedings of the meeting. Sir.
Good evening, friends. Dear shareholders, a warm welcome to all of you to UGRO Capital's annual general meeting. It is an honor to stand before you today as the non-executive chairman and independent director of this incredible organization. Drawing from my 50 years of public service, including some 35 years in the IAS, 5 years in the Central Information Commission, several years on the boards of MCX, SIDBI, Invesco, and Paradeep Phosphate, among others, I have always valued transparency and robust governance as key drivers of success. It is these deeply held values that led me to UGRO Capital, a company that shares this commitment and has worked tirelessly to uphold it. This journey, as you know, has not been smooth. UGRO started at a time when DHFL and Yes Bank crisis overwhelmed the financial sector. Then there was the unprecedented crisis brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet, despite these obstacles, UGRO Capital has not only persisted but thrived. Today, as I stand here, my heart swells with pride thinking of the milestones we have achieved. Our unwavering commitment to bridge the MSME credit gap, our absolute faith in our founder and managing director, Mr. Sachindra Nath, and our devoted management team have all brought us to where we stand today. Mr. Nath's extensive industry knowledge and visionary leadership, paired with the diligence of our management team, has guided us through the toughest of times. From the very beginning, UGRO Capital has believed in a clear, straightforward business model, where nothing is hidden, nothing is opaque. Our lending machine is technology driven, minimizing human interface and ensuring transparency and efficiency. Our governance structure too has played a significant role in our success. The board of directors, comprising of independent and experienced professionals, has consistently upheld the highest standards of corporate governance, creating an environment of accountability and oversight that reassures all our stakeholders. Our dedication to transparency and innovation caught the eye of numerous financial institutions even in our infancy. Just within the first year of our operations, we were successful in winning the trust of numerous established financial institutions. Public sector banks, renowned for their scrutiny, recognized our credibility and began to open liability lines to us. A defining moment for us was when the Reserve Bank of India introduced the co-lending arrangement. UGRO Capital became the first NBFC to partner with prestigious banks like the Central Bank of India and State Bank of India, among others. Our success in gaining the confidence of such esteemed partners is not only a reflection of our achievements, but a sign of their faith in your company's future potential. It reaffirms our commitment to our core values of transparency and innovation, which continue to guide our growth and expansion. As we look back at our journey, we are filled with gratitude for the trust and support we have received from stakeholders like you and the financial institutions that have believed in us. The trust and support you, our esteemed shareholders, have placed in us have only fueled our ambition. Our past success serves as a foundation for the future, helping us create a platform that empowers small and medium-sized enterprises, underscoring our commitment to fueling further economic growth and development in India. Your company is a partner in the national mission for making India a major economic power, creating entrepreneurs and providing employment opportunities. To conclude, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for being a part of this incredible journey in creating UGRO Capital as India's largest small business financing institution driven by data and technology. Having said this, it is my honor to now introduce all the directors participating in this meeting. May I invite Mr. Sachindranath on the dais, please, and then Mr. Korupasamy Singham, Mr. Karnam Sekar, Mr. Hemant Bhargav, Mr. Rajiv Agrawal, please. Mr. Sachindranath, as you must be all of you knowing him, he is the Vice Chairman and the Managing Director and Chairman of the Asset Liability Committee of the company. In fact, he was the person who actually has driven this whole company from its very inception. Korupasamy Singham, he is an independent director and chairman of the Compliance Committee of the Compliance and Current IT Strategy Committee of the company. Mr. Singham is a former senior executive of the Reserve Bank of India. Mr. Karnam Sekar is independent director and currently the chairman of the Audit Committee and former chairman of the NRC. Current chairman of the Risk Management Committee. Mr. Sekar was a managing director of the State Bank of India and he was also chairman of a public sector bank. He is a very respected banker. Mr. Hemant Bhargav, he is independent director and the chairman of the Audit Committee, and earlier he used to be the chairman of the NRC. Mr. Bhargav was the chairman of LIC. Rajiv Agrawal, He is the independent director and chairman of the Stakeholder Relation Committee and currently the chairman of the NRC. Mr. Agarwal, as many of you might know, was in the SEBI as a member. So we have another independent director who couldn't make it today, but my friends who are seated on the dais, they have been with us for a very long time, some of them from the very inception. And it is this team with the help of Mr. Sachindra Nath is driving this company. So thank you so much for. We also have with us Pratik Khandelwal, associate partner, and Mr. Dhrubin Chedda, associate director, representatives of measures MSK and Associates, statutory auditor of the company, who will complete their term on the conclusion of the AGM, and Mr. Parthiv Desai, partner and representative of Sharp and Tannen, proposed statutory auditors. I have been informed that the quorum for the meeting is present, and I call this meeting to order and request Mr. Sachindra Nath, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, to please take the meeting forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Some of you might be wondering why we are doing an annual general meeting in the Central Hall of Bombay Stock Exchange. We never had the privilege of ringing the bell in Bombay Stock Exchange. The original promoter of this company, Mr. Chukhani, is also sitting over here. So in 1992 or before, he would have done that. We never got this opportunity. So when we completed our 5 years, actually this 5th July, since we transitioned this from the earlier company to UGRO, we thought this could be, this is the best time to come back to the heart of the capital market and retell our story of what we are trying to build. It is amazing. I remember 5th of July 2018 when the management got changed for this company, when we brought large global investors. The total number of shareholder family of this company was 800 plus. Today you would be amazed that we have 17,000 plus owners of this company. And my aspiration is that there should be a day when we hold the annual general meeting of UGRO Capital, a 5,000 people hall should also be small. Because as we are helping and supporting millions of small businesses, we would like millions of small shareholders, high net worth, institutional shareholder to ultimately own this company. What we want to do before we come to the formal proceeding, that our shareholders should know, because we don't get this opportunity to tell you exactly what we want to do, what we are doing, where we are, and why we think that we are changing the landscape of India. Because we always, every quarter, we speak extensively in the board meeting. All people like us who wear this suit, tie, collars, we go to large global investors. Extensively we tell them how we are building the business. But this is the one opportunity where we want to tell you all, which are the real owners of this company, that why we are very unique, why we are building an institution which would last forever. Do I change this? Okay. So as you know, UGRO is trying to build India's largest financial institution supporting small businesses. I remember in my 25 years plus of financial services experience, 10 years back, 15 years back, if you go to any lender and say we want to, SME financing, it was a customer segment, it was this, you would always say that, oh, this is the most riskiest segment. And the most riskiest segment, actually it was less of lender, more of the customer itself. If and not far behind, if you 6, 7, 8 years, 10 years back, as a lender you go to a small business and you say, भैया आपको 1 करोड़ का लोन देना है. The answer would be, बिल्कुल दीजिए, मेरा टर्नओवर कच्चे में है, मेरा खर्चा पक्के में है, मार्जिन आप खुद ही कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए. Now poor lenders had no option But to then say, then okay, I can't assess your cash flow, I don't know your revenue, your expenses are overloaded, please give me property, I'll give you the loan. And that has been there for 3 decades, and that is why segment of the market which is small businesses, which contribute almost 30%, which is the largest employment generator, 11 crore plus people. I keep saying actually India's largest block, and that's why it is well supported by the government, but have always been credit excluded when it comes to the lending institution. This exclusion was what we call because of the informal segment in which we used to operate. I remember when I was thinking of creating this business, it's okay. I remember that in 2018, 2017 actually, when I was thinking of incubating this business, I was sitting in Bombay in one fine day at 7 or 8 o'clock evening. The first incident of transformation of SMEs in India has happened, which was demonetization. I cried almost an hour for that day. 2 of the investors who were about to invest in my company, next day morning they said, thank you very much, demonetization has happened, we are not giving you the money. But actually that is the point wherein the psychological barrier or the hurdle of small businesses started worrying that it is no longer safe to remain in cash economy. The second major thing which happened was the GST. We all travel across country, we meet the small businesses, and every time we go and we ask simple question, how is GST for you? And there is a line, or pages of complaints about GST keep coming. It's filing is bad, its invoicing is bad. But actually that is the second leg of transformation which has happened to our industry. Third came the digitization of the banking. All of this, and some of this we will explain you in detail, all of this is taking small business financing where the consumer financing is. I remember my father actually bought a Priya scooter long back. That scooter came, came after a wait of almost 7 or 8 years because the Priya scooter used to be a premium commodity and you have to book it, and then it used to take 5-7 years, like phone. First phone at my home came after 9 years of wait in my city of Banaras. But for that Priya scooter, for him to buy, he has first saved the entire amount of money, then waited for 7 years and then bought the scooter. Today, you walk into a Chroma store and you can buy anything irrespective whether you have money or not. That is what is going to happen for small business financing. In few years, it would not be the case that when a small business will be receiving an order of 10 lakh rupees, it has to wait for its financing or the working capital to come in 3 months' time. At every order, there will be a lender which will be chasing every small business to give him the money to complete that order. So that's what we say. Traditionally, the India used to lend on basis of your financials, your balance sheet, lot of physical assessment, go talk to your customer, do reference checking, but that would wean away. It does not mean that the physical infrastructure, the branches, the credit officers, the collection would not require, but the method of underwriting the customer, purely because of the level of the formalization which is happening in our economy, especially for small businesses, is at an explosive stage. This decade, there are, in last 2 decades actually, there are great companies which has been built around consumer financing business, some of the most expensive companies in the world, especially when it comes to their traded price. But we are very confident, elated and supercharged that this decade and next decade is of small business financing in India. We keep saying that, Bharat badal gaya hai. Why we keep saying Bharat badal gaya hai? Because I keep giving this example. I was in multiple cities And I give this example that one day in Bombay, I went to drop a friend of mine at airport. I was coming back at 2 o'clock, and in Bombay you get tea, midnight at every corner, and I stopped to have a cup of tea. And after I finished my tea, I gave him a 50 rupees or 100 rupees note for a 10 rupees cup of tea. The tea fellow got really angry. He said, "Bhaiya, aapke paas UPI nahi hai kya?" So obviously he was from Bihar, I'm from UP, so I said, "हाँ, गलती हो गई." So he said, "आज के दिन में कौन ये देता है और कौन फुट कर रखता है? UPI से पे कीजिए." So भारत बदल गया है. We are the only country in the world wherein you can transfer money from one mobile number to other mobile number. I don't know how many of you know, this transaction of an UPI goes through almost 500 nodal points before the money hits the account, and you don't take more than 5 seconds to do that. There are massive transformations, so Aadhaar, Udyam, which is happening, which is transforming. I was day before yesterday in my home city of Banaras, and I was just simply calculating the economic growth or potential of a small city, which is a religious city. There are 3 lakh, religious tourists coming every day. On an average, every tourist spends 1,000 rupees. 30 crore rupees per day new cash going into one single town. 900 crores every month. Can you look at what it is going to do to the local economy, the local small businesses? So for the first time in last 2 decades, India is getting where it should be in our tier 2, tier 3 towns. After a very long period of time, actually I went to Rajkot because since we took over the company, we were focused on building this. So we said we have to make awareness, go to the public market, tell investors our story. And when I went to the Rajkot, I thought Rajkot is in our definition, Rajkot is a tier 2 town. And we went to meet somebody, and his office was on 11th floor. Then we went to meet second person, his office was on 15th floor. Then I asked somebody, how many 15th floor buildings are in Rajkot? He said in around 200 cities. So I said, by no means it is a tier 2 town. So that kind of economic growth is coming. What it is doing, it is keeping India intact, because no longer people have to be migrant, they have to go to different cities. Small businesses growth is making sure that our country's employment is in those cities, people prosper there, and socially we are much more stable. But for credit businesses, this would transform. And how it has changed and what has happened to the ecosystem is this. If you look at number of people who pay GST has gone up by 50%. The UPI volume has gone up by 12x. The Udyam registration, it has gone up by 13x. I don't think so the markets generally have realized the one single transformation for MSME, which is this digital registration system. There used to be a time when you go to a bank and say, how much is your shortfall for MSME financing? And it always used to be a big shortfall. Now you go and ask the banks, do you have a shortfall of MSME financing? Answer is no. Because now recognizing an MSME through Udyam Aadhaar has become so easy, and the retail trader is also an MSME. And that is also giving a data set which allows the credit to happen. Number of ITR filed has increased by 37%. Total MSME registration in India has gone up by 80%. And last but not least, there is a concept of a linked account. So I talked to you about the GST, which is a game changer for digitization of MSME economy and digitization of banking. Now, you as a customer to any bank can give access to any of your bank account through one single OTP. And that allows the power which banks used to have with respect to a current account of a customer is getting transferred to any lender, and especially the non-bank finance company and the fintech. So this ecosystem is what is creating what we call the Bharat Badal Gaya Hai. And the opportunity, all of you as a shareholder, should know that your company is playing for what opportunity set. And this is a standard question which I always get. Don't you think that this is highly competitive space? And my answer is, one UGRO is insufficient. We need minimum 100 more UGROs to come and then also this country's MSME credit need would not be fulfilled. Look at the data. The first data, and actually we were also surprised when we were doing this quarter's presentation, we have yet not reached the level of the credit which was pre-COVID. So the drop in the credit which happened during COVID, we are still about to touch that. Second, look at what has happened from FY 17 to 22. All of you generally believe that there is more number of small finance banks have come. The wholesale lending in most of the mainline banks have reduced and retail credit has gone up. And also there are people like us, and many other NBFCs have come. Some of them are coming to the market, getting listed. But what it has done, actually it has increased the credit gap from 53 trillion, which is 53 lakh crore, to 85 lakh crore. To fulfill the gap of 85 lakh crore, and if you think of a regulator wanting you to hold a 15% of minimum capital adequacy or 20% capital adequacy, India as a whole does not get this kind of capital to fulfill this gap. So believe me, we keep saying we will take 1% of the market share, we will serve 1 million customer, but even if we do that in 3 years time, for which we are super confident, we are just a dot in the entire landscape of MSME credit. So the largest and most productive financing of our country is small business financing, and for next many number of decades, you will see large institution creation happening. We have companies which have made 4 lakh crore in consumer financing. We have 1,95,000 crore company in second-hand vehicle financing. We have multiple gold loan companies. We have diversified NBFCs. We have small finance bank. But you will not recall one company which you can say, this is a company which is 50,000 crore and just does small business financing. As a owner of this company, I would tell you, we will build that. We will build India's largest institution around small business financing. And besides some of you who are sitting over here, our AGM is going live on YouTube, Facebook. So we know a lot of other shareholders are also watching us. We want to give you this confidence that there is a massive market and opportunity. While we do this as a business, we are responsible for our shareholder to generate great return for them, but we are working for a greater cause. We are working to enable credit to every small business so that they can run their business smoothly, they can generate more employment, and they can keep this India going and achieving its mission. How do I run this? So how does, before the film starts, actually I wanted to give you a little bit of background. We recently launched, a unique proposition of an on-tap credit through an app. But actually this film explains you that, as I've said, that in a UPI transaction there are 500 nodal points which get hit. When you go to a Chroma store and you give your mobile number, you automatically get a credit in 5 minutes time. Today, when we approve a loan within first 5 minutes or 7 minutes, when we do full sanction in 30 minutes, there is a large amount of technological and analytical backbone we have created. Over a period of last 3-4 years, we have a 275 people team, 75 in data analytics, 200 in technology, which has created and integrated this massive ecosystem. While the film is an outcome, wherein somebody needs loan and this loan is getting delivered in an app in 5 minutes time. But actually we tried explaining that what goes behind that. So watch it very carefully if I am being able to run this.
तक मटेरियल आया नहीं?
सर पैसे नहीं है, मटेरियल कैसे आएगा?
अच्छा
पैसे का आप भी टेंशन मत लो, UGRO कैपिटल का GrowX ऐप है ना, अब आपको भी मिल सकती है नॉन स्टॉप बिजनेस करने की आजादी।
इतनी जल्दी?
So that between the 2 points, somebody needing money and somebody receiving the money, you saw the entire process of processing, the Udyam Aadhaar processing, his KYC, looking at the GST data, filtering the GST data with 400 points, taking the entire banking statement and coming to what we call our growth score and delivering the credit. This is the transformation or the future of MSME credit in India. We are just one, entity trying to change that, but there is a massive innovation happening around that. A lot of people ask me this question. I remember that when we raised our entire 1,000 crore capital at one go. I remember when I met Mr. Chokhani in 2017, September or so, and I said, sir, I want to take the control of this company and I want to raise 1,000 crore of capital. So he said, कौन से गोरिया लोग तुमको इतना पैसा देते रहते हैं, कौन है, क्या मजाक बना रखा है तुमने? So I said, please have faith in me and we can definitely do and deliver it. Obviously he kept faith, he never sold one single share of his and continued to be a shareholder, but that was not actually the big event. The big event was when we were able to create this ecosystem, be the first one to create a data analytical score which actually delivers the credit. And some of this we will explain that how that is changing the landscape. So I'm very pleased to invite 3 of my colleagues, Mr. Anuj Pandey, our Chief Risk Officer, who heads also our Data Analytics and Technology team, Mr. Amit Pandey, our Chief Revenue Officer. We call him Chief Revenue Officer because all of our salaries get paid because of his effort, and Mr. Kishore Lodha, our CFO, who doesn't allow us to spend any money. So thank you. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. It's indeed a privilege as management team to present on what our approach and what some of the results are in front of you. We've been doing the AGM through virtual meets, but it is nothing can replace a physical meeting. So it is a very, very good opportunity for all of us. With me, as Sachin was saying, Amit is there, who is our Chief Revenue Officer, and Kishore, our Chief Financial Officer, and I am the Chief Risk Officer. Between us, we will very shortly explain to you what is our approach to underwriting for the MSME segment, what is our distribution footprint, and what are the highlights of our financial results. So, as the slide is saying, and as Mr. Nath was also mentioning, when we started, and we were very clear that we want to focus exclusively on solving the credit problem for MSMEs, the biggest question which was unanswered, and it is still partially unanswered, is how to transition from a collateral-based lending to cash flow-based lending. In simple terms, when a small MSME comes for a loan, a typical lender, big banks or a large NBFC asks, what is the security you have? What is the collateral you have? And they ask this because the cash flow, the ability to predict how will be they able to repay their loan is very complex. Partly because the accounts and the numbers were not very formal. Also because they were so complex that it is very difficult for a human to predict how the future will look like as far as his income and his ability to repayment is concerned. This was the heart of the problem which we wanted to solve. And for that, we have made tremendous progress. What has helped is the data ecosystem which has evolved in parallel. So when we were starting in 2018, the GST momentum had started building up. And today, the amount, and we have all seen and we have all witnessed that every month the GST collection is only improving. But also at an MSME level, the compliance and overall reflection of true sales in GST has multiplied manifold. What this has enabled us to do is to allow, with a click of a button, with customer's consent, ask for his GST returns. And the moment that comes in through an API, the machines are ready to analyze that. With that, when you also collect the bank statement of the customer, you have almost everything which you need to predict and forecast how the business is going to do statistically. And this is what we have worked upon. There's a very small video we have to just summarize our approach to cash flow lending, and then I will spend a little bit more on our proprietary scorecard model, which is an industry first.
UGRO Capital, empowering MSME ecosystem.
Is a lack of collateral coming your way to raise funds for your enterprise? Well, then cash flow-based lending could be your solution. Cash flow-based lending is an innovative approach that takes into account the complex nature of an MSME's cash flow, providing quick assessment of credit basis their cash flow projections, and with the evolution of GST and banking-based models, powerful machine learning tools are now available to make this process even more efficient. To further leverage the digital revolution in finance, the government is also stepping in with initiatives like Open Credit Enablement Network, better known as OCEN, and account aggregators. These initiatives will help the MSME segment to have access to easy and convenient credit. So, if you are an MSME struggling to access the funds you need to grow your business, cash flow-based lending could be the solution you've been looking for.
UGRO Capital, empowering MSME.
So, in short, we can say that we were at the right place, at the right time, with the right intent, with the right investment in the infrastructure which is required, with the right kind of scale in mind to solve the unsolved, which is the credit problem to MSMEs. And at the heart of that problem solving was the proprietary score which we have developed over last few years. And today we are in the third generation of that score. We call it GROW score. The first generation we went live with that with the launch of the company. And in fact, we have applied for a patent for that. That is in process. Very short, very crisply, what it does, it tries to triangulate the data from GST, the data from the banking for the banking behavior of the customer, and the data for repayment behavior from credit bureaus. And simply, when it does that, there are so many innumerable features which come about, which only a machine learning platform can understand. The sheer amount of data which comes in. If I am an MSME with a turnover of 5 crores, it is possible that I will have thousands of entries in my bank account statement and a lot of sales and purchase figures in our GST. So one needed a platform which was machine-led. And we coded that program. The code utilized a system where we were able to standardize and archive all which is possible as data features which are likely to impact the repayment behavior of the customer. And that is what has led to the success of GROW score and our underwriting. There is a very small video on that, and then we can move forward.
India has 7 crore MSMEs who encounter barriers to accessing easy credit due to lack of formal documentation and collateral. However, cash flow-based lending has emerged as a revolutionary solution to address this challenge. To capitalize on this, UGRO Capital has developed GrowScore 3.0, an enhanced version of their proprietary scoring model, GrowScore 2.0, by utilizing data from GST in conjunction with credit bureau and banking information. Imagine there's a small manufacturing company that makes custom furniture. Recently, they received an order for custom-made furniture, but to fulfill the order, they need immediate working capital to pay for raw material, new hirings, and other operating expenses. For that, they applied for instant credit with UGRO Capital and shared their GST data to support their application. Now, UGRO Capital will analyze the GST data provided by the furniture company to extract critical information such as sales momentum, purchase behavior, margins, scale of business, counterparty relationships, product mix, and filing discipline to calculate the GROW score and predict the likelihood of the company repaying the loan. Based on the GROW score, UGRO Capital will make a data-driven lending decision and offer access to the credit to the company at a reasonable rate. This is crucial for businesses that can't obtain loans without collateral or face high interest rate problems. By leveraging GST data alongside traditional credit banking information, UGRO Capital provides a streamlined lending process and quick access to credit when small businesses need it most. UGRO Capital, empowering MSME ecosystem.
So today, with the help of this GROW score, we have a system where when the customer uploads his bank statement and GST statement and KYC document, we are able to give an in-principle decision of whether we will be able to process the loan and how much within minutes. This has been made a reality, it is live, and we have been improving the same process and machine learning abilities for last 3-4 years. Some of the highlights of what we have achieved in such a short time is there on the slide for everyone to see. This is in continuation of what Sachin was referring to in the overall how macroeconomy has changed. Just in 5 years, and out of that about 1.5 years were wasted in COVID, we have been able to process more than 81,000 customers on GROW score. We have done more than 1,17,000 analysis of bank statement. We have in our records more than 2.49 lakh customers' bureau repayment behavior. We have fetched more than 39,000 GST records for the customer. And what it means that we now have data which will help us give better solutioning, better credit to customer and already more than 55,000 customers are on board who have experienced this. If we look at our current database, current customer base, and if you add the turnovers of those customers, it is in excess of 1.9 lakh crore. We have more than 120 very strong relationship with large anchors and original equipment manufacturers. Today, we have a very large footprint. We serve more than 4,200 out of the 4,500 pin codes which are in India. And the future is looking very, very attractive. In our database, in the ecosystem of our customers, there are already more than 25 lakh entities where there is significant headroom where we can analyze that data and offer them something. This includes people which are about 19% of everyone who is filing GSTs. This is the power of the ecosystem and the platform which we have developed. And this expands exponentially. And we are committed to keep investing in making those cutting-edge solutions, codes, algorithms, which will continue to deliver better, more efficiently for all our customers. And lastly, from my side, just a snapshot results for everyone to see what we have achieved as far as portfolio performance is concerned. And the GROW score which I have been talking about, what we did was, today out of every 100 customers who apply for a loan to us, we give loans to approximately 30 of them. But our proprietary growth score is run for all the 100 customers. And we keep checking, going back and checking, even if we have not been able to give a loan, if they have taken some other loan, how are they behaving? And the result is in front of you. Whether we gave the loan or not, our growth score performance as far as predicting the customer's future repayment behavior has been simply awesome. What the growth score does is it classifies all the customer between 5 segments, A, B, C, D, E, A being the best, E being the worst, and this happens within minutes. So it becomes very easy for us to serve the customer within the given TAT. And the results have been simply astonishing. Now I hand over to Amit to just give you a glimpse on our distribution strength.
Thank you, Anuj, and I hope you can hear me. So, while Anuj really put light upon what our core to this underwriting is, which is our growth score, what is important is that we also overlay a physical underwriting touch point beyond this growth score, which makes it imperative for us to have a footprint across the country. Second, our aim to power these small MSMEs also takes us to the tier 2, tier 3 towns. Therefore, today we have about 100 branches across the length and breadth of the country. Out of these 100 branches, 26 branches are in the larger cities of Bombay, Calcutta, Indore. But what is important are those 75 branches that are spread in very small towns in the 5 states of Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka, Telangana. This is where we are really going to the last mile, assessing the cash flows of the merchant and then giving him a loan. This is where we are really making an impact and really powering the Bharat. So on these micro branches, as we keep growing, we will continue to invest. Next time when we stand here at the AGM, you will see this number up at 150 plus. And our investment in going to the deep down in Bharat will continue. On the distribution piece, while we've now spread ourselves across a large footprint in the country, what we've been able to do because of the growth score, the technical platform that we have, the turnaround times that we are being able to build because of our underwriting models, is entrench ourselves in multiple ecosystems to reach to the last customer. We work with about 50 plus OEMs on our equipment finance business. These 50 plus OEMs, we work with them to fund their equipments, their CNC machines, their printing, their packaging, their woodwork machines, thereby funding productive asset of the MSME, allowing him to really increase his productions and also generate jobs. On the second side, we also fund a large amount of ecosystem of 70 plus anchors. Some of these names are very marquee on the screen. Here we fund their dealers and the retailers, ensuring that there is never a scarcity of credit to the last mile to grow their business. Apart from the OEMs and the anchors, this is the new age businesses that we run with a lot of platforms where we do instant credit, new age products. These new age products could be revenue backed financing, daily EMI products, or for that matter, or new products for EVs, new products for solar, and that's where we worked with a large amount of partnerships, about 40 plus partners across the segments that I spoke. Finally, the traditional businesses of loan against property and business loans happen through the intermediary channel, our distribution partners, our grow partners, and we are now one of the preferred financier prima facie of our ability to underwrite fast, underwrite more prudently, and give customer a firm Anuj? So with that large distribution, with a suite of products, with a large entrenchment in ecosystems, our aim is to service every need of every customer, which means we want to give a customer a 25,000 rupee line to a 5 crore rupee loan, a 7-day limit to a 15-year loan. A loan against his property, against his productive asset like a machine, unsecured loan for his supply chain. And we now, at this point of time, with our suite of products, service almost every need of every customer in the whole MSME segment. We service our 8 sectors, and this is all supported by what we spoke about, our anchors, our partners, our OEMs, and our GROW partners, of course. So in last 3-4 years or 5 years of our existence, and you would see on the chart, because of our ability to use our GROW score, because of our ability to have a brilliant technology stack, second to no one, our ability to then leverage these competencies in our ecosystems and our partners, we've been able to build a robust AUM. Our AUM at the end of March 2023 was 6,083 crores. As we exit last quarter, and we've already published, we are close to 7,000 crores. We will exit this year at 10,000 crores. And our aim to, like Sachin said, to be a 50,000 crore MSME funding company is not very far. Having said this, as we keep growing our AUMs, finally this has to be funded by liability. To take the liability update, I'll hand over to Kishore. Kishore, over to you.
Thank you, Amit.
Come here.
Good evening, everyone. I was wondering, you must be wondering that why we are starting with a CFO is starting with a liability update rather than belting out the numbers of last year. Because traditionally, I have been CFO for long, and traditionally, whenever I have spoken to our shareholders, I would first give the numbers that how the last year has gone by, how the projected numbers would be, or what the last quarter has been. But here we are breaking the tradition for a reason. Because we all strongly believe that without a strong liability franchise, you cannot create a strong, large public financial institution which is for financing. And so if your liability franchise stays, your franchise grows, stays and grows. We have seen during the period of COVID and all these accidents that happened over last 4-5 years, all the franchise in financial sector where the liability franchise was not that strong, they weeded out. Those who had a strong liability franchise, they stayed and they are still growing. So this is why we decided that we will start with giving you a glimpse of how we have built our liability franchise over the years. So this is where we are. So our liability franchise is based on 3 pillars. One is that on-balance sheet lending, where we borrow on our balance sheet. Second is assignment, which is also a traditional way of doing this. So these 2 are more or less traditional pillars of our liability franchise, whereas the third one is unique, which is lending as a service, which we are among the first in India where we started co-lending. And as of now, we are of our total AUM, roughly 43% AUM is contributed by lending as a service, which is nothing but co-lending. We are among the first who have started it, and among the MSME, we are among the largest in India as of now. Of the balance sheet borrowing, we have about 62 lenders as of now, as on 31st March, 66 lenders, and as on 31st March, our total liability on balance sheet was roughly around 3,200 crore. Now it has moved to almost similar level of 3,300 crore as on 30 June this year. As a borrowing cost has been inching up slightly during the year and during the quarter. It is largely because the benchmark rates have gone up significantly. As you know that the benchmark rates have increased by 225 basis points during the last 15 months, whereas our cost of borrowing has gone up by almost 25 basis points during the same period. So we tend to believe that we have done reasonably well as far as containing the borrowing cost is concerned. And as far as bringing the a financial institution on our balance sheet, we are second to none. Despite having not such a large franchise, only of a borrowing of 3,000 crore, all the large lenders, whether it is public sector banks, private sector banks, large DFIs of the world are our lenders, as you can see on this screen. This is what I was talking about, that lending as a service, which is an important pillar in terms of our borrowing. We have steadily increased the contribution of co-origination, co-lending, which we called co-origination, co-lending during the period. Our off-book was roughly around 16% at the beginning of the year. It went up to 40% at the end of the year 2023, and now we are at 43%. Our endeavor is to take it to 43 to up to 50% of our total balance sheet. It not only reduces the overall stress in balance sheet, but also creates a much larger benefit for the shareholder, as it creates an opportunity for creating a larger, much stronger ROAs and ROEs for the shareholder. Now coming to the financial performance of the year as well as the quarter. So this is the go forward statement. This is our endeavor, where we want to be. So as of now we are growing more than 100%. Last year we have gone from 3,000 crore to 6,000 crore. This quarter we have grown by 11%. Our stated objective is that we will reach 10,000 crore. So roughly around 60% year on year growth we will achieve during the year. But overall we want to achieve a 30%. As of now the base is low, hence the growth is looking very, very large. But once we achieve a size, we want to achieve a 30% sustainable growth on AUM. While we achieving the AUM of 30% sustainable growth on AUM, we want to achieve 18% of ROA, 50% of sustainable off-book AUM through co-lending, 4% of ROA, 18% of ROE, and less than 2% of credit cost. This is our stated objective, and we are quite confident that by 2025 we will achieve it. These are the numbers of last year which has gone by. The AGM where we are discussing these numbers, our annual reports is reflective of these numbers only. We ended the year with a strong AUM 6,081 crore. We started the year with 2,900 crore of AUM, so we have almost doubled the AUM during the year. Our profitability has increased from 14 crore PAT to almost 40 crore of PAT, almost 21 crore of PBT to 83 crore of PBT. Asset quality has remained stable during the year. Overall gross NPA remained at 1.6%, which has come down over the last year. Net NPA has come down from 1.3% to 0.9%. So on asset quality we have done reasonably well, which is the result of our growth score, which Anuj talked about, and liability you have already spoken in my previous discussion. For the quarter which just ended, we have done our board meeting on 1st of August, and we have done our investor call on 2nd of August. We have done reasonably well during the quarter as well. The momentum continues. Our AUM closed at 6,777 crore vis-a-vis 6,081 crore during the previous quarter. Overall income has grown. Overall pre-provisioning profit has moved 11% quarter on quarter to 56.6 crore and 187% YOY. Overall profit has increased from 14 crore PAT to 25 crore PAT during the quarter. So we have done reasonably well during the quarter. With this, I will hand it over to Mr. Nath to take this AGM forward. Sir, AGM agenda has to be completed, no?
Thank you, Kishore. Thank you, Anuj. Thank you, Amit. We'll formally begin the agenda of the annual general meeting. Members,
I'll start with it, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'd like to thank my management team for that crisp yet exhaustive presentation. Thank you, everybody. There are a few things to note for the shareholders I'd like to announce. The annual report for the financial year 22-23 and the notice convening the AGM was sent in advance through electronic means to those shareholders who had registered their email addresses and physical means to those shareholders who had not registered their email addresses. I'd request any one of the shareholders to please accompany Mr. Pankaj Nigam, our scrutinizer, to present the empty ballot box and then to lock it. Anyone? Yes, Mr. Parikh, please. Thank you. Can you please lock the same? We had provided the facility for remote voting for the members to vote on the matters of this AGM. Members who have not cast their vote through remote e-voting are requested to do so by leaving the filled poll paper in the ballot box placed adjacent to the dais. As informed, Mr. Pankaj Nigam, practicing company secretary, has been appointed as the scrutinizer to supervise the remote e-voting process and the voting at the AGM. In case members who have voted through remote e-voting still cast their vote at the AGM are requested to note that the votes cast through remote e-voting shall stand final and the votes cast through poll would be disregarded. The registers have been kept at the venue. I would request the shareholders who have not already updated their email IDs and KYCs to do so, and please reach out to Lincoln Time, our RTA, for the same.
Members may please note that as per Companies Act 2013 and Secretarial Standard, any qualification, observation or comments on financial statement or matters mentioned in the statutory auditor's report or secretarial auditor's report shall be read out in the general meeting. I am pleased to state that the auditors have given unqualified audit report. Accordingly, I take the audit report as read with the permission of the members present. With the permission of the member present, I also take notice of the AGM as read. I now request the company secretary to briefly talk about the resolution proposed to be passed at this meeting.
Thank you, sir. I will quickly brief all the shareholders here of the 12 resolutions that we have proposed for approval. The first agenda item relates to the approval of the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st of March 2023, along with the reports of the directors and the statutory auditors. The second agenda item pertains to the appointment of a director in place of Mr. Chetan Kulbhushan Gupta, who retires by rotation and being eligible offers himself for reappointment. The third item pertains to the appointment of Messrs. Sharp & Tannen Associates as the statutory auditors of the company for a period of 3 years, who would start their term at the conclusion of this AGM until the conclusion of the 33rd AGM. The fourth item pertains to the alteration of articles of association. The fifth item of the notice pertains to the authorization to borrow money under Section 180(1)(c) of the Companies Act. The sixth item relates to the authorization to sell, lease, and dispose of the property under Section 181(a) of the Companies Act. The seventh item pertains to the approval to borrow funds by way of issuance of non-convertible debentures. The next item pertains to the approval to raise funds through QIP or any other means up to the tune of 500 crore rupees. The 9th through 11th items are to consider and approve the appointments of Mr. Satyanand Mishra, Mr. Rajiv Agrawal, and Mr. Karpasamy Singham as directors, and to approve their appointment for a second term of 5 years as independent directors. The 12th item would pertain to the appointment of Mrs. Deepa Hingorani as the director of the company. Since the resolutions were put to vote through remote e-voting, proposing and seconding of the resolutions is not required. Before we invite the speaker shareholders, I request all the speaker shareholders to limit their speech up to a maximum of 3 minutes. In the interest of time, we would request the shareholders to refrain from repeating the same questions so that the other shareholders may get sufficient time to voice their queries and views. I would request the speaker shareholders to kindly stand at their place. A mic would be provided for asking the questions. Before we begin, I would also like to request the shareholders who have not already cast their vote through remote e-voting to place their filled ballot paper in the ballot box placed adjacent to the dais. I would start by requesting Mr. Rohitan Batliwala to please, can we please provide him a mic? Absolutely, sir. Why not?
Respected Chairman Mr. Satyananda Mishra, other Board of Directors on dais, CFO Mr. Kishore Lodha, Company Secretary Mrs. Narmata Sarjanani and a secretarial team, my fellow shareholders, good evening to all of you. Sir, my name is Mr. Rohinton Battiwala and thanks for inviting me to speak in front of August gathering and equally learned chairman and directors. So first of all, let me thank you for the small speech which all you have given. So first and foremost, I would like to compliment and congratulate our company secretary, Narmata Sajnani, and her secretarial team for coming out with good AGM report, which is very much educative, informative, intelligent, and knowledgeable, and further it has adhered to all the norms of corporate governance. The facts and figures are all at place. Sir, the directors in their capacity has not declared any dividend for the financial year 2022-23, but has not given any reason why the directors has not recommended the said dividend for financial year 2022-23. We should like to know the reason why you have not declared dividend. Is it because of it is because of lack of profit or the further expansion for the company? Please throw some light on it. Sir, if you are not giving dividend, then why do you do such expenses for the AGM by taking so expensive hall? So you could have easily done it by taking a private party hall, or you could have easily done it in your registered office. Sir, the security fellow was not allowing me to come inside. They wanted to see my Aadhaar card or PAN card. Then they will allow me to go. Then after too much of rig-jig, they allowed me to go. So please see next time this type of harassment to shareholders should not be done with. Sir, why our company is not giving dividend? Our marketing team is not so efficient. Sir, because we senior citizens do live on this income after retirement, and if our company does not give dividend, where we will go for day-to-day our needs? Please look at it for the future. Sir, our company's performance is also good and outstanding. Happy to read the company's performance. All-round performance is there. Sir, our EPS for financial year 2022-23 is rupees 5.66, better than last financial year 2021-22, which was 2.5. Sir, at least if you could have recommended rupees 1 as dividend, our company would have come into dividend paying company, because shareholders mostly goes on dividend paying company. Please next financial year, please see to it that our company start giving dividend. Sir, our company has earned 5.66 as EPS. Now, sir, I would like to know what company is going to do with all this money. Please let us know, because it is paramount important to know. Sir, now little queries. Sir, what is the roadmap for next 2 to 3 years? And sir, what is our capex program for next financial year, and how do you think you will fund it? Sir, when are we going for digitalization? And sir, are we planning for any diversification? And if so, what are your plans for future? Sir, any mergers, acquisition on the cards? Sir, has many more things to ask and discuss about, but due to time restraint, I end my speech over here with prayers to Almighty Lord to bring our company on top slot and come into dividend-paying company under your dynamic leadership and help from other learned directors. With this, sir, I support all your resolution via e-voting. Jai Maharashtra, Jai Hind.
The management team or the MD would take up the answers to all the questions after all the questions have been asked in the interest of time. We would move forward and request Ms. Lekha Shah to please stand up. Can you please provide a mic to Madam?
Hello, respected Chairman Sir, Board of Directors and my fellow members, good evening to all of you. Myself, Lekha Shah. First of all, I'm very much thankful to our Company Secretary Narmada ji, especially Imam Srikanth ji for extending very good investor services and also sending me the AGM notice well in time, which is full of knowledge, fact and figures in place. Thank you, Chairman Sir, for explaining as well about the company. Congratulations for excellent work, sir. Sir, I pray to God that He always shower His blessing upon you. Thank you, Satyendra ji and Anuj ji, for such a informative and wonderful presentation. Chairman sir, I would like to thank to all the personnel of company receiving awards and recognition by your plan during the year 22 and 23. I am glad the company is doing very well the field of CSR activity. Sir, Chairman sir, इतना अच्छा तरह से हमें प्रेजेंटेशन दिया, क्या क्वेश्चन में पूछो? मुझे कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछने का नहीं है सर, मेरा बेस्ट विशेष
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Anil Parekh, can we please provide him a mic? Yes, of course.
Today's chairman, Mr. Satyanand Mishra, our vice chairman and managing dynamic vice chairman and managing director, Sachindra Nath, all other board members and my fellow shareholders, good evening to you all. Sir, I would like to begin with Mr. Chokhani is here, and I would like to tell him that this was your brainchild earlier, erstwhile Chokhani Securities. Now you should be proud of this company where it has reached. And still there are so many miles to go for this company. And under this board of directors leadership, I am sure they are going to achieve many more milestones. Having said that, Sachindra ji, having heard you on your vision, your business model and many things in your opening remarks, no questions are left now to ask you so many questions and clarifications. However, for my knowledge, I will ask you some questions, and with that remark, I am sure you all are working very hard to make this company a great institution, and we all can be proud of in future. First of all, I liked your loan disbursal system, wherein you have mentioned on page number 3 that you go through the analyzing bank statements, then GST records, and then GRO score, and within a few minutes you are disbursing the loan. So I like that business model, so that customers not to wait for many days or sometimes many months or many years also. So I like your business model. Sir, our Grow Plus app enables all the small business owners, retailers, traders, and all things mentioned here. And I would like to ask for that, how many customers using this app? That I would like to know. And how much it has benefited us to grow our business. Sir, in April 2023, we have raised the capital of approximately 340 crores. So proceeds of which I would like to understand where can be used. I'm really delighted to see the financials of this year, and you have already shown that in AV. I don't want to describe that in length. But what I liked very much is your GNP and NNPA is very much under control. If you see on page number 13, it is given 1.6% is your GNP and your NNP is 0.9%. If we take an example of many banks or many institutions who are lending the money, their GNP and NNP are much more higher than we can expect. So I am really pleased that you all are working very hard to keep this under control. Sir, you have also mentioned on page number 13 that 69% of our disbursal of loan are secured. How it is secured, I would like to know. And how many small town customers are there? That's my question. Sir, I am really pleased the way this annual report is drafted and presented to us. It's exhaustive and all details are very well available. So I am thankful to whosoever person behind this has drafted and presented to us. Many awards and accolades you have received. So I am sure that this time it is only 2-page awards, but I am expecting 4-page at least next year. Sir, many things to be said, but I would like to end up with some remarks which you may not like. But sir, it is my duty to attract your attention on that, sir. Sir, on page number 94, we had only 4 meetings, board meetings of Asset Liability Committee. Risk Management Committee has 4 board meetings and IT Strategy Committee 2 board meetings. And sir, you have not declared any dividend. You know, shareholders are always eager to see when dividend will come, how much dividend will come. But we are less dividend. I understand your justification for that. You would like to grow at faster pace and you are conserving the resources for that matter. But sir, when you all people are taking so much sitting fees, if you see on page number 96, for 4 board meetings, 39 lakhs, 29 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 26 lakhs, 25 lakhs. Sir, don't you feel this is on a higher side? vis-a-vis our dividend. So I would like to understand your dividend policy and also your sitting fees policy. Please don't mind, you may be you understanding my. Sir, having said that, I would like to come to last page. Of course, I don't have notice with me. I have just collected this annual report from here. So I will go through last page, resolution page, wherein, sir, we are borrowing money and to sell, lease, change or mortgage property. 7th resolution, borrow funds by way of issuance of non-convertible debentures. These debentures, will you offer to public at large? And if yes, at what percentage and what duration? I would like to subscribe to that. That's why I'm asking you this question. Because that is the safest investment, a debt instrument in my opinion. Sir, also, resolution number 8, you are raising funds by QIP of 500 crores. Please elaborate me what would be the utilizing of these all funds and how much quantum of this all funds aggregately. Sir, last but not the least, I am drawing your attention. I have already told our secretary, Namrata, she is charming lady, she is helpful, but still I am very displeased with your telephone number for the investors. Sir, I have tried your telephone number 48918686, and if you try just now, it is shown as invalid number. Second number given is 41821600. It goes to call center. Now, what to do myself with call center? You should have one dedicated line for investors. And when you are doing such a wonderful job, doing excellent well, I don't expect this kind of corporate governance from you. Thanking you, patient hearing, and I am here to support all your future plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving ahead, Ms. Smita Shah, if you may please stand. Mic for the madam. Bilkul. Yes, I would request all the shareholders please to restrict themselves up to a maximum of 3 minutes and to refrain from repeating the questions, please. It would really help. Ma'am.
Please. Excuse me, please stop now, please. माननीय चेयरमैन सर, श्री सत्यानंद जी, वाइस चेयरमैन एमडी श्री सचिंद्र जी और अन्य माननीय डायरेक्टर, सर मैं स्मिता शाह बात करती हूँ. सर आवाज़ आ रही है ना? ओके, थैंक यू सर. सर सादर प्रणाम सर. सर पहले तो मैं आप सभी का मैं बहुत धन्यवाद मानती हूँ कि आज आपने फिजिकल एजीएम में हम सबको इनवाइट किया और आप सभी को प्रत्यक्ष मिलकर मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है. और आपकी जो शेयर होल्डर के प्रति अपना प्रत्यक्ष मिलने की जो फिजिकल एजीएम की आपकी जो भावना थी वो मुझे नज़र आ रही है. सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर. और सर मैं कंपनी सेक्रेटरी मिस नम्रता जी को मैं हार्टली धन्यवाद देती हूँ। वेरी गुड फुल इन्फॉर्मेशन के साथ रिपोर्ट जो बनाई है, ट्रांसफरर बैलेंस शीट है। सो मिस नम्रता जी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और अभिनंदन गुड इन्वेस्टर सर्विस के लिए। और सर, आपने भी काफ़ी अवार्ड्स जो प्राप्त किए, तो आपको भी मैं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। और कंपनी का वेरी गुड एक्सेलेंट वर्क के साथ जो आप कंपनी को आगे बढ़ा रहे हो, और कस्टमर की संख्या भी बढ़ गई है। और आपने यहाँ जो अभी काफ़ी बहुत बढ़िया प्रेजेंटेशन दिखाया, तो पता चल रहा है कि हमारी कंपनी बहुत अच्छा वर्क के साथ आगे बढ़ने जा रही है। सर, मैं पूछना चाहूँगी कि सर आपके कॉम्पिटिटर कौन हैं? मतलब आपके रहेंगे कोई तो कॉम्पिटिटर, और वो थोड़ा बताने की कृपा करें। और 5 साल का एटलीस्ट फ्यूचर प्लान भी बताएं। और सर, फ्यूचर में अभी फ़िलहाल की करंट जो अपनी कस्टमर संख्या है, तो उसके अलावा आप चाहते तो होंगे कि हमारी संख्या हमेशा बढ़ती रहे, तो उसके लिए आपने फ्यूचर्स के प्लान और क्या तय किए हैं, तो थोड़ा आप हाईलाइट्स कीजिए। बाकी तो सर, दिस ईयर डिविडेंड तो आपने नहीं दिया है, लेकिन मुझे तो पूरा विश्वास आप पर बनता है कि कंपनी का वर्क, आप जो मेहनत और हार्ड वर्क के साथ आप ज़रूर फ्यूचर में भी बढ़ाओगे और फ्यूचर में शेयर होल्डरों को बेहतरीन डिविडेंड दे पाओगे। और सो मेरी फ्यूचर्स की बेस्ट शुभकामना भी आपके साथ है, और आज के सभी रिजोल्यूशन में मैं फुल्ली सपोर्ट करती हूँ। और बस सर, मेरी हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप एवरी ईयर इसी तरह फिजिकल AGM में हमें मिलते रहे बस, और हमेशा प्रेम भाव से मिलते रहे। और आशा के साथ कहूँगी, आप सभी सदा रहे गुड हेल्थ वेल्थ के साथ, और आने वाले सभी त्योहार की शुभकामना के साथ। धन्यवाद।
Mr. Shenoy, if you may please stand. Mr. Shenoy. Okay, moving ahead. Mr. Bharat Shah. Bilkul aajiye. You would like to say something, ma'am? I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Shenoy. Could we please get a mic for her? Thank you.
Hello. Respected Honorable Chairman, other dignitaries on the board, and my holders, to all of you. I got the annual report, which is colorful, transparent, informative, as per the corporate governance. I thank Ms. Narbata and her team for the same. Sir, the information which was given to us about the company, which I did not know about it at all. After coming to this meeting, I have come to know what exactly our company is dealing with. And thank you, Chairman Sir and Vice Chairman Sir, for your good explanations along with the slides. And even the other three persons who have given information regarding the company, it's working in all parameters. Thank you once again, sir. So I hardly have any questions. Many questions I wanted to ask, which are all covered by the slides and what explanations given by the chairman, vice chairman, and other members. So I wish the company good luck for a bright future and pray God that the profit of the company shall reach the peak in due course. Sir, I strongly and wholeheartedly support all the resolutions put forth in today's meeting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Shah.
माननीय चेयरमैन श्री सुचिंद्र नाथ जी और एमडी श्री और अन्य मान्यवर डायरेक्टर, सर मेरा नाम भरत शाह है। सर मैं आपका प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत देखा, व्यवस्थित देखा, तो आप जो कंपनी चला रहे हो बहुत व्यवस्थित चला रहे हो सर, और मेरे को विश्वास है कि आगे भी कंपनी अच्छी चले सर। और सर दूसरा तो प्रेजेंटेशन में बहुत कुछ आपने बता ही दिया है, तो मेरी कोई क्वेरी नहीं है, क्योंकि आप व्यवस्थित कंपनी चलाएंगे सर। लेकिन डिविडेंड सर नहीं है, वो सब बोला, ऐसा मेरा भी मानना है कि डिविडेंड अगर रहना चाहिए सर।
लेकिन जो आपने देखा मैंने ये सब, तो मेरे को लगा कि डिविडेंड लिस्ट पर आएंगी और अपनी कंपनी का शेयर का भाव भी बढ़ेगा और आगे फ्यूचर में बहुत आगे जाएगी कंपनी, ये मेरा मानना है। तो ये बराबर है सर। बाकी तो सर ऐसा थोड़े खर्चे ज़्यादा लगते हैं कुछ, मैं तो पढ़ेला नहीं है सर, ज़्यादा अकाउंट का मेरे को नॉलेज नहीं है सर, लेकिन ये खर्चे थोड़े ज़्यादा लगते हैं, वो सीटिंग फी वगैरह को बोला, दूसरे खर्चे, तो थोड़ा रिड्यूस करके हम शेयर होल्डर आपके साथी है सर, तो ज़रा रिड्यूस करके ज़रा कंपनी को बहुत आगे बढ़ाओ और हमेशा साथ रहेंगे और अपनी कंपनी बहुत दिन दोगुनी रात चौगुनी भगवान आगे बढ़ाए, मेरी ईश्वर भगवान को प्रार्थना है सर। और सर मैं कंपनी सेक्रेटरी नम्रता जी और उनकी पूरी टीम को बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर, इधर भी व्यवस्था अच्छी रखी है और ये अपना रिपोर्ट भी अच्छा बनाया है, तो मैं उनकी पूरी टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मानता हूँ सर। और सर एक हो सके तो कुछ ईमेल आईडी ऐसा टेलीफोन नंबर व्यवस्थित आप करना, तो शेयर होल्डर कभी भी कांटेक्ट कर सके, उनको डायरेक्ट नंबर भी देना कंपनी सेक्रेटरी का, तो कांटेक्ट कर सके, ऐसा फ़ोन लगाया नहीं लगेगा ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए सर। और सर बाकी सब रिजर्वेशन में मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर। और फेस टू फेस आपने मीटिंग रखा, बहुत अच्छा हुआ, एक आदमी का बढ़ा हुआ है, ऐसा ही मीटिंग रखना, अपन मिलते रहेंगे हर टाइम, और बस भगवान को प्रार्थना है अपनी कंपनी बहुत आगे बढ़े सर, बस बहुत आगे बढ़े। और बाकी सब रिजर्वेशन में मेरा बुरा त्यौहार, आने वाले त्यौहार गणेश चतुर्थी दीपावली की मैं शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ, और बस अपनी कंपनी आगे बढ़े, आपकी हेल्थ अच्छी रहे, भगवान को प्रार्थना है। सारे रिजोल्यूशन में मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच। जय हिंद, जय श्री कृष्ण सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Miss Nalini Lakhani.
Respected Chairman and Board of Directors, my fellow shareholder, all of you good evening. आने वाले त्यौहार हार्दिक के शुभेच्छा, गणपति, नवरात्रि, दिवाली की शुभेच्छा। I support all the resolution. Thank you. जय श्री कृष्ण।
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Prasad Deshpande.
Hello, Team UGRO. First of all, heartiest congratulations. It's been a wonderful performance throughout. I do consider this company as a startup. I don't see it any other way. It could be 30th AGM, but I think truly it's a startup in many ways, right? And I think it's very, very rare to find an approach where somebody approaches to do a startup in a listed space. Really, really appreciate this entire team and the founders to take this approach. I think it's very important for the shareholders to get an opportunity to participate in a company like this at the startup stage itself. These days, we do not get to do that. Companies get listed very, very late at a very, very expensive valuation. It becomes very, very difficult for us to do that. So really, lot of thanks from all of us for taking this approach. The second thing I would like to really thank you about is the approach you guys have taken to balance growth along with profitability. We see a lot of startups these days raising money and going the burn model, which probably may not be sustainable in long run. Really appreciate the fact that we've been able to maintain scorching growth rates. At the same time, we are able to be profitable at such an early stage itself. Related to that, sir, I had a question. I don't know whether I'm able to understand the numbers that you're putting everywhere correctly. I think we've stated that our ambition is to do a sustainable ROA of 4% from FY25 onwards. We've also stated somewhere that I think the goal to do an AUM of about 20,000 crores, if not 20,000 crores, maybe 18,000 crores or somewhere around that. Maybe even if you achieve a run rate, not the actual AUM, even if you achieve a run rate of, let's say 20,000 crores by the end of 25, and given that our ambition is to do an ROA of 4%, am I reading it correctly that we are basically talking about a profit after tax of 800 crores from FY25 onwards, like at least the run rate of 800 crores going forward? I mean, if that is the case, from a run rate of about 100 crores to going to about 800 crores of run rate in the next 2-3 years is amazing. If you guys can really achieve that, all the very best to all of you, and we're all here to support you. And again, I think as others have mentioned, I think we all support most of your resolutions completely. I can talk for myself. I'm here for the first time. Really appreciate the fact that we're able to meet in person. Hopefully this continues. And congratulations to everyone. Team UGRO, you guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Mr. Wayne DeMello.
Check. Yeah. Hi. Thanks for the opportunity. I've been a long-term shareholder and a big fan of what you guys have built. So here are my questions. One is on the hedging losses that we posted this quarter. So is there any regulatory requirement for us to be hedging our ECBs, or are we just doing it as per our discretion? And going forward, should we expect these losses every quarter? My second question is on how we decide whether a loan will be under co-origination or co-lending, because we know that co-lending is more profitable for us. So is there a chance that this mix moves more towards co-lending? And the third question again is, previous participants have touched upon the sitting fees paid to the directors. So if I look at our fees, they're almost at par with HDFC Bank. And if I look at our peers, we're paying 5x more than our peers. So just some rationale on that. And my last question is, in the recent con call, you mentioned that because of the lack of GST, etc., the micro enterprises side does not go through the GrowX score. But if I look at our book, that makes up about 23% of our overall book. So does this mean that 23% of our book is not going through the GrowX score? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bimal Kumar Agrawal.
Good evening to everyone. The company has posted strong revenue and profit growth during FY23, but still no dividend. Please provide insight into the business model of the company and competitive landscape. Please provide the detail of NPA ratio and recovery mechanism. Please provide the guidance for the current year and next year. Thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Yusuf Rangwala.
Respected Chairman, very good evening, sir. Sir, first I am very thankful to our company, excellent company secretary, for giving us a balance sheet and also calling us and keeping for the physical meeting. My best wishes, sir, as you saw on the film. I am not going to detail. I am very happy with our company's progress, but you not declare a dividend. That is a very sad. But as you mentioned, we require a fund. The time will come. You will reward us good. So we are with you, and this is a balance sheet of around you can say 232 pages. That is a very excellent. As you mentioned, our client, all SBI and all the this other, as you mentioned in the film. I am very happy to see the film. SBI, all the, they are our finance department. This is a very excellent company, sir. My best wishes. Wishing you a very 15 independent days and all the festival. Thank you very much, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Thank you all the speaker shareholders. With this, we have concluded the question session. The management would now respond to the queries raised. Sir. Yes.
Chairman sir, मैं अपना सभी VC आज आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट है, नेक्स्ट ईयर फिजिकलिटी देखेगा, मैं कंपनी सेक्रेटरी नर्मदा जी को आप इधर बिठा दीजिएगा स्टेज पर. थैंक यू सर.
हमारी कंपनी सेक्रेटरी यंग है, वो हम सब बुजुर्ग लोगों के साथ बैठना पसंद नहीं करती है. हमने उनको ऑफर किया था पर उन्होंने मना कर दिया. Actually, thank you very much for all the questions, tough ones as well as for all the words of appreciation. I would first and foremost, the big question I think which came overwhelmingly from most of the speakers is about the dividend. Yes, sir. is about the dividend. So I was just looking at the screener, and I have a peer set of UGRO. So I have a peer set of UGRO, and I was just comparing. UGRO has, sir, given to shareholders a return of almost 67%. Among all of its peer set in last 6 months and 1 year, we are highest return generator across every listed NBFC in the country, right? So it's probably for not paying the dividend, we have compensated in terms of the value creation. That's point one. And sir, that is happening. The lending business per se is different from most of the other business, the consumption businesses, the manufacturing businesses. In early stage of our company, and thank you Mr. Deshpande for recognizing that, one of our biggest pain, we brought this company, we started this as an, literally from ground up in a listed universe so that shareholders like you can benefit from it. We keep seeing companies which are founded 5-6 years back, they grow on back of large VCP funding, and prices are set artificially and then come to the public market, and finally large retail public shareholders invest at an exponentially high price, wherein we gave the opportunity for every shareholder to participate in this growth story. So as we keep saying Bharat badal raha hai, we wanted to create a democratized company owned by large public shareholders, and we hope that you will benefit from that. But in terms of, you have to, just wanted to clarify, because we have been answering this question for the last few years. For companies which are in lending businesses, capital is our raw material. So to give you an example, we have just raised 340 crore rupees of equity capital. Our capital, every time we lend 100 rupees on balance sheet, we need 20 rupees, at least to maintain as a net worth for our company. 15 रुपए तो RBI बोलता है, हम 20 से 22 रुपए के आसपास रखते हैं. So on one side, when we are diluting you, right, by bringing new capital, if we take out the money from the company to give it, this company's growth would get immediately sacrificed. So most of the large banks which pay dividend, they pay after say 5-7 years. So once we achieve the 30% of static growth, once our accumulated profit is more than sufficient to maintain our growth rate, obviously the dividend start coming in. But I would say that as shareholders, you get rewarded by dividend, but as well as also value creation. The stage at which we are, 5 years of hard work which the management team has done, the potential of the market and what we intend to achieve, and this founding is completely in place, every shareholder, I firmly believe, would get rewarded very handsomely. So I would keep your faith in us, and hopefully we'll compensate for that. That's first one. I would take up with some few specific questions which were Smita Shah ji asked about who are your competitors. Ma'am, our competitors is ourselves. The opportunity is so large that every day we have to compete with ourselves. We don't see anyone else competition. I keep saying when Pepsi or Coke was launched in United States of America, its competition was water. Its competition was not another aerated drink. For a market size wherein the gap of credit is 86 lakh crore, who we compete with? We compete with our own capability of what we can do and public trust and faith. So the size of the business is a function of consistent performance. The provider of money, which is the liability side, the banks, the financial institution, the public market, they should keep giving money, and then we compete and outperform ourselves. So we don't have a real competitor, man. On the question of we not having a very good calling number, we are very sorry. We'll fix it that within next 48 hours for sure. There was a question on our future plan and M&A strategy. Sir, our future plan is very well stated. I think so we have guided the shareholders, the market for next 2 years. In March of 2023, we were doing roughly around 500 to 600 crore per month. And as Mr. Deshpande said, we were frustrated of market not recognizing our potential. And they were comparing us with 20, 30, 40-year-old established companies and saying why our return on equity, return on asset is not comparable to a 20, 30-year-old. So we said we'll take a pause. So we stopped our all new OPEX. This year we are growing at the same run rate and we are delivering profit which is around 6x, around 4x of our last year PAT. And then we will grow again. But our expectation is by March 24, we will be at 1,000 crore of exit run rate. That would take us to our aspirational number of 25 to 18 to 20,000 odd crore. And obviously our profit should at least go 2.5 times of what we will deliver in 24. Once we touch anything above 15 to 17,000 crore, we are an institution in making. Because after that, the financial institutions grow on their own. They have to adjust within the cycles. They have to calibrate. But unless there is a fraud, there is siphoning of money, and there is an ill intent of the management, these institutions don't fail because of the customer. If you look at the journeys of HDFCs, the ICICI, the Bajaj of the world, that is the way they have grown. They have underperformed the market, they have overperformed the market, but they have continued to grow. And I think so we would like to be in that stage very, very quickly. With respect to M&A, sir, I think so given our size of capital, very, very young, energetic, capable management team, we have ability to absorb similar businesses within sets of UGRO. We are always open for that, but we have not found anything which we can do and take in action. And that's why we are, at the moment, our organic growth is more than sufficient of what we can do for the current year. There was a question on loan disbursement system. Our loan disbursement system is highly digital. Our core, premise is that every customer except micro enterprises goes through our system of being provided a GROW score which divides our customer in 5 different bands. We have 5 different systems which deals with 4 different systems which deals with different channel. But our idea of putting these 210 people in our technology to deliver first point of decisioning within first 60 minutes. It can be yes and no. Today 70% of our customers still we say no, but we say that no in first 60 minutes, and that's quite important for our small customers, because nobody want to be hanging for a decision, which has been a perennial problem within the financial institution system. So it is an ever evolving process. I think so the level of digitization which is happening with respect to ease of doing business is at a rapid pace. So we used to, for example, upload the physical bank statement. Now account aggregation has come. It would just do the same thing in fraction of second. The KYC is getting digitized. All of that ecosystem is happening. I can assure you that your company uses best of the ecosystem which when it comes to service a customer from point of origination to collecting a loan. We have huge digital process which are aiding and supporting our 1,000 plus sales forces, 500, 400 plus credit forces to enable do the same job with greater degree of accuracy and higher productivity. Then there was a question with respect to, there was a question that we raised in capital and what we did that. Sir, in our case, our capital has a simple use. We raise capital, whether in form of equity or debt, we lend it to the customers. We hardly do anything. This equity capital was predominantly deployed towards giving onward lending to our MSME customers. Then there was a question of why we have a QIP resolution for 500 crore. Sir, this is an enabling resolution. We would like your company to be always ready with respect to future capital raise. We will end this year is expected at total AUM of 10,000 plus crores, of which around 47% would be on your balance sheet, and that means that we'll be at a capital adequacy of 22 odd %. Given that it's an independent company owned by all of you, we don't have a parentage on whose the financial ecosystem can back upon. It is always advisable that we raise our capital little early than what most of the conventional company would do. So for augmenting the growth for 24-25, we would be raising a round of capital. The timing of that would be dependent upon how next 3 quarters perform, but we want to be in ready state, and that's why we are taking your approval as a enabling shareholding resolution. There was a question on public, NCD and why that, whether that would be available to shareholder. So today you will be very happy to note we have 17,000 plus equity shareholder, but we have 15,000 plus NCD shareholders, NCD holders as well. We have done 3 public issues of our NCD. Hopefully very soon we will be doing our 4th one. We are doing it in small tranches. We are gaining market confidence, and once that happens, we would like to do it larger. But I recommend, please read all the documents. But as a shareholder of this company, if you contribute to our debt issuance as well, this management will be extremely, extremely pleased. It has not happened. Normally the equity investors don't invest into debt, but I think so the debt market and equity market are converging at some point of time. So please watch out for our next public debt issue, and please feel to participate. Sir, this would be, this is a good idea. We will definitely try to figure out if that is legally possible. So you can't give a discount, we can give a yield enhancement, but we can surely look at that. This is a very good idea. I think this is technically possible, and we should be able to do that. Yes, our head of legal and compliance saying is possible. So we'll just make sure that in our next public issue we have a category for equity shareholder of UGRO. We will figure out what is the best possible, and we'll surely keep it in mind. I think so there was a few of shareholders talked about the our directors sitting fees, and it seems to be very high. First, sir, it seems to be high because it is published in annual report, but the other cost of the company is not published. Second, sir, our sitting, we say UGRO is independently supervised, institutionally owned, independently supervised and professionally managed company. The company and its board is chosen very carefully. Its construct is to bring people of eminence, stature and experience from every field and walk of financial services institution. The board which you see in front of you and few board members who are not present, represents the Security Exchange Board of India, Reserve Bank of India, the government, the large insurance company, and financial institutions, banking fraternity. What we pay as an independent director's fee is what is the maximum per meeting cap provided, and there is a total cap of X amount, but we are an active company. Our board is an active board, and that's why not only it meets 4 times, all its committee meets at the same time of interval, and for the time and effort, and this amount get accumulated, and what you see is what you are here. But let me assure you, as a founder and a managing director, no amount of our board of members in this company don't invest their time because money. They are investing their time and guiding us because they like your company, they like our mission, and they like what we are building. I wish as the founder of this business I could have done more to our board member, but we are doing only what is regulatory provided, and you should draw this comfort that at a scale which we are operating and at a scale which what we would be operating, this is a very, very meager fraction of cost, and you should not worry about that at all. Number of customers, I think so, there was a question that all our micro customer doesn't go through Grow Score. You are correct, because most of our target segment is 10 lakh rupees customer to 10 crore of turnover customers. Most of our micro customer would not have GST footprint. So we have an alternative score which we are developing, which only runs on banking and plus bureau score, and there is a very deep and rooted alternate methodology of assessing the cash flow which is run on the ground. So that's why there is high intensity of manual intervention which happens over time. But as the market is graduating and as the economy is getting more formalized, most of these customers would keep coming into the net of more formal ecosystems, and we are very confident of that. 50 to 60% of our customers belong to the tier 2, tier 3 town. There was a question. We will provide an email ID. There's no doubt about it. There was a Brian's question on hedging losses. Actually, they are not actual losses, sir. This is just accounting. This is below the bottom line accounting entry. For ECB regulation requires us to compulsorily hedge this. So the hedge cost comes on the other side, the other reflective entry comes on the balance sheet side. So this is not an actual P&L loss. It is regulatory required to represent it that way, but the PAT being reflected over here is the PAT you have. It is no loss. In terms of how we decide co-origination, co-lending, our philosophy have been that we understand our customer fairly well. We know what product and what credit methodology and what metrics we have to have for servicing or underwriting our customer. Different banks choose to filter on top of what we have filtered. So our systems are smart system. We originate the customer. We underwrite as if it has to go on our balance sheet side. If on some parameter it doesn't matches with a co-lending partner or co-origination partner, the asset would sit on our balance sheet because we are confident about the credit profile of that customer. But wherever it matches, it goes to the funnel of a bank or a large NBFC partner. We today do it in two ways. There is a roughly around a portion of our loan which at the point of origination get jointly disbursed with a co-lending partner, and there is a 50% of our co-lending wherein 100% we disburse upfront and then we transfer 80% of back, which bank tests it against the policy and parameters. I think so I have covered almost everything. Yeah, but we are available on the high tea and happy to answer any more questions. Thank you. Concluding remarks? I have to get my notes. So before I conclude the annual general meeting of the company, I again request all the members who have not cast their vote to do so by means of poll paper and leave the filled poll paper in the ballot box placed adjacent to the dais. The result of the voting during the AGM together with the results of the remote e-voting will be declared within 2 working days of the AGM and would be communicated to the stock exchange and also published on the website of the company. I thank all shareholders, dignitaries, invitees for attending the 30th annual general meeting of the company and declare the meeting as concluded. Please join us on high tea. Thank you.
नम्रता सा वीडियो दिखाया, उसमें एक स्लाइड में कंजक्चर वर्ड का यूज हुआ है। मुझे लगता है कि वो कंजक्शन होना चाहिए सर। थोड़ा देखिएगा।
बस एक पिक्चर पहले, बस 2 मिनट। हाँ जी, 2 मिनट। मानसी, रुचिरा।